Those of you who are regular viewers of the show know that I am going through a process currently of getting the streaming set up on all of the places where you can watch us live. You can hear us live on Spreaker.com, which is where we host our podcast. You can watch us live here on YouTube or here on Facebook or on Twitter or on Twitch. If you're one of the people watching us on Twitch right now, welcome to you. You are one of my favorite viewers of all times. So thanks for joining us. On the Facebook, I'm starting a watch party with my friends. And here we go. I know that was a long pause, but I had to double think my title before I actually went live because I've got some people on my friends list, some people who follow me personally, which is where I was starting this here program, who, well, you know, they're of the type where they get their feelings hurt easily. And I didn't want to have them take it personally by the title of this show and, well, go up to their room and cry all day with the curtains closed and, you know how it goes. Well, you don't know how it goes, but they do. And that's probably what they're doing right now anyhow. Good coffee this morning. All right, so we've got all of the streams running, which means we're going to go live with the podcast. You are listening to The American Soundbite, a podcast that features common sense thoughts of an everyday American. This is the start of the most valuable 10 minutes of your day, so congratulations on joining us. I'm certainly glad that you're along for the conversation today. Hey, before we get started, I want you to take a second and think of someone in your family or maybe one of your friends or even a coworker or a boss who may not be quite as conversive as you. They may not be as intelligent or just can't get the words out. Someone like that would definitely benefit from, well, listening to the American Soundbite. So why not find that share button? Let your friends, your family members, your coworkers know that you start your day by listening to the American Soundbite, and, well, they should too. I promise you that you're going to benefit from it more than they do, but they will never stop thanking you for the referral. I promise. The mainstream media is counting on your ignorance right now and, well, every day. Because, well, that's how they keep you addicted. That's how they keep you watching. That's how they keep earning millions and millions of dollars every single day by running ads to people like, well, you. We're going to explore just one way that they do that, or one way that it's evident that that is their model, and how it's affecting your life and my life today, right now, right here. If you watch the news, I don't care what channel you watch, it doesn't matter. If you watch cable news or the local news or any form of news today, you will see that the commentators, the talking heads, they're out there, they're talking about how ridiculously high and dangerous COVID-19 is right here and right now. We're seeing skyrocketing numbers of people getting sick, and the number is huge and it's really big, and oh my gosh, this is horrible. Who could have seen this coming? Literally, they're saying those words. And they're saying, who could have seen this coming? And governors, well, here in Ohio and in California and in other states, are reacting to, well, an uptick in the number of people who are getting infected as if they didn't expect more people to get sick when they started opening the states. Let's go back to early March when this whole thing started, and they started to impose restrictions on your and my lives. They told us that they needed to shut the businesses down, to sequester us in our homes, imprison us in our homes, because the hospitals, our medical industry, needed 14 days to get ready to handle those of us who were going to get sick once they opened it up. That's right. They said the hospitals needed 14 days to get ready to handle the masses of people that were going to get sick when they opened up. They said that they needed more ventilators, which, as it turns out, they didn't. They said they needed more PPE, personal protective equipment, which, even though there are still some news reports saying, oh, we're still at a shortage, they're not. They said that they needed to get beds ready because we don't have enough. We don't have enough rooms. Remember, they canceled all elective surgeries. They even canceled screening for things like cancer. They made a huge deal out of the fact that they needed us to lock ourselves in our homes for 14 days so that they could get ready. And then 14 days, once they had the American populace, well, compliant, they said, you know what? We need to keep it closed for another 14 days. Well, they didn't really say, did they? While we work on a way to convince you that this had nothing to do with the hospitals getting ready, we need to change the story. And they did. They changed the story, and so many people bought into it that today, right now, they're saying, oh my gosh, we're shocked that we've opened this country up. We've opened our state up. And people are getting sick. We never planned on this. We never even saw it coming. It must be the fault of you, the people who did stupid things like, well, went out in public once we told you you could. So we're going to have to take control again. We're going to have to order you around again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you're smarter than that you know that this is all, well, a house of cards that they're playing for whatever their agenda is. You can fill in the blank. It has nothing to do with the fact that people are getting sick. In fact, if you look very specifically at the death rate, the daily number of people that are dying, even though the infection rate is soaring, the number of people that are testing positive for COVID-19 is going up rapidly. In Florida yesterday, they had an all-time record high of 15,000 people that tested positive. If you remember, 2 months ago, we didn't even have 15,000 tests available. But now it's a shock that 15,000 people in one day tested positive for COVID-19. Now, there's no indication on how many false positives there are. I personally know an individual who tested positive one day and the very next day tested negative. But they're counted still today in the total of positive tests. So the media picks up on the fact that they can manipulate you. They can get you to watch their programs if they get you scared. And so they're reporting on these huge, massive numbers of people who are getting tested positive for COVID-19. By the way, there was an investigative report that found out that when people test positive once, they're always tested a second time. When they test positive the second time, did you know that that counts as 2 positive tests? That's right. That means that they're counting that as 2 people, 2 positive tests for COVID. If you listen to the language, they don't say this number of people are infected. They're saying this is how many positive tests there were. So you could be tested 3 or 4 times in a day. It's not unheard of. And that's going to count 3 or 4 times for a positive test. If you're in the hospital, they're going to test you every single day. That means every day you're one of the number who increases that's being tested positive. What I'm saying is that the government is manipulating the numbers for whatever reason. Again, you can fill in the blanks. And the media is hyping the hell out of this. Why do we have governors, both red governors and blue governors, who are reacting to the number of infections rather than looking clearly and seeing, oh, well, there's a number of infections. Here's a number of people who are actually getting sick. Here's a number of people that are, well, sick enough to see a doctor. Here's a number of people who are going into the hospital. Here's a really small number that are going into the ICU. And gosh, the deaths in Ohio are like a single digit. Yet they're looking at the top number and they're saying, oh my God, the number's increasing. We're going to hell. We got to fire and brimstone, and we've got to get you shocked and alarmed and worried and concerned, and wear a mask and stop going to places, and we're going to shut shit down again. There's a reason for it. The media has a reason because, well, that's their business model, to get you to watch more minutes of programming so that they can show you more minutes of advertising, and they can charge more money per ad that they run, and they make more money. Remember, we're coming into the most lucrative advertising season in every 4-year cycle. There is a period between August and November where during a presidential election, where the advertising rates are the highest in a 4-year period. They're more than double what their normal advertising rates. They're in some cases quadruple or even 10 times the going rate for airtime, because it's a presidential election. Because, well, the Republicans and the Democrats are spending $1 billion in that time frame in advertising to try to manipulate you to vote for them. So how does the media do that? They get you to watch more. Do they have an ulterior motive other than that? I'm not sure. I can speculate, and so can you, but I don't know. The concern is, why are governors looking at the data, even the data they're not sharing with us, and choosing to impose restrictions, choosing to lock you down, choosing to, well, go into a pseudo police state with all of these excessive orders controlling business, controlling your life, when the reality of it is that the number of people that are dying as a percentage of those that are getting infected, it has drastically dropped off. It's dropped off so far that it's not even a concern for organizations like the CDC and the WHO. They're looking at it and saying these aren't even pandemic numbers. These aren't even epidemic numbers. The percentage of people that are dying right now, I can't tell you the reason. I can speculate that because we're outside in the sunshine right now, in the warm weather, we're absorbing all the nutrients and the vitamins from that thing, that great big ball of fire in the sky, and therefore people aren't getting as sick right now. I'm not saying that won't revert in September, but for right now, fewer people are getting seriously ill. Fewer people, almost nobody, is dying from this right now. Yet, the governors who got so much exposure, got so many ego strokes, got so much power when they closed us down, now all of a sudden need to revert to that. Even though the hospitalizations are low, excuse me, There is a reason. I don't know what it is. It does need to be looked at. It needs to be investigated. It needs to be found out, because we have a whole bunch. We have almost 50, about 42 extremely corrupt governors out there who are using false information to manipulate you on the media's, explosive reporting of inaccurate or less than whole truth of the picture to manipulate, you. You're the one who can stop it by getting the full set of data. You're the one who can stop it by digging through all of these websites, by digging through the information. It's not easily accessible, but it is out there. When you look at the number of people who are dying every single day, it's sad that people are dying, but it's not alarming. Just by getting infected with COVID-19 or testing positive with COVID-19 doesn't even mean that you're infected with it. And even getting sick with it doesn't mean, or infected with it doesn't mean that you get sick. And even getting sick doesn't mean that you need to even see a doctor. And seeing a doctor doesn't mean you need to go to the hospital. And going to a hospital doesn't mean you need excessive treatment. And going to the ICU doesn't mean you're going to die. So when you look at the big number that they report every day, the number of infections, it's an irrelevant number, because it's the number of tests that came back positive. It means nothing on who's actually infected, who's sick, who's seeing doctors, who's going into the hospital, who's going into the ICU, or if you filter it down to the bottom, the number that actually matters, how many people are being killed by this virus. And that number is low. That's what should be reported. That's what people should be focusing on. That's really the only important thing that's out there. The fact that there's positive tests when, tests are available at every street corner drugstore right now shouldn't be a surprise. In fact, they told us in the beginning of March, when they started these closures, that when they opened up, more people would get infected. They said, remember flattening the curve? Flattening the curve wasn't about preventing you from getting sick. It was about giving the hospital more time, that when you do get sick, because you will, it's a virus, that they can handle the volume. Well, right now, the truth is the people who are getting sick don't need doctors. They're testing positive. They're going home for a few days. They're testing again. And, oh, hey, I'm clear. A lot of those people, it was a false negative to begin with. But many of those people are testing positive. They're not getting a whole lot of symptoms. They're isolating. They're getting better. And they're never even talking to a doctor. You're being manipulated. You're being manipulated by the media. You're being manipulated by politicians leading into an important election. They want to keep you scared. They want you to think that you need government. But this is a prime example of why our excessive government, our out of control government, needs to be reined in. It needs to be reined in now. We need to get politicians out of office. We need to put, common people like you and me into office at the federal level, at the state level, at the local level, and get rid of professional politicians who are corrupt, who are trying to hoard power, and who are manipulating you with anything that they can to both maintain and increase their level of power over you by reducing your freedom, your civil liberties. It's something we need to act on now. Because if we don't, it'll be too late. You have been listening to an episode of The American Soundbite. This is a podcast that features common sense thoughts of an everyday American, and I'm certainly glad that you've been around for the conversation today. Well, this has been, oh my golly, this has been the 17 minutes have been the most valuable 10 minutes of your day. We went long today, but it's because it's a crucial topic that's affecting you and your life right now, whether you realize it or not. Hey, before you go, if you like the topic, if you like the content, if you like what we do on the American Soundbite, click the like button. If you have comments, suggestions, or even snide remarks, or just want to yell at me, type them in the comment section. I read those each day, and it affects tomorrow's program. While you're at it, right next to that is the share button. Let your friends, your family, your coworkers know that you start your day with the American Soundbite, and they should too. Thanks a lot for listening. I hope you have a great day, and God bless. Holy cow, I had no idea the program went that long today. It was probably because our pre-show was really short, because I was able to get everything up and running really well. But we ended up going, well, with the intro and the outro, 18 minutes and 8 seconds, which I really do try to keep this to 10 minutes long because, well, it's something that makes it easy, even for people who have short commutes to work, to listen to as the podcast. The manipulation that's going on right now is unreal. The control that our politicians are trying to take over our lives is excessive. It's unprecedented. And, well, it's hurting our democracy today. You and I can do something about it. We must do something about it. And we must let everybody know in our circles that their votes count, that professional politicians are the problem in America, and that we can fix it by not letting an incumbent into Congress or into the Senate or into our governor's office. Find an independent, find somebody who hasn't been in politics, elect them. And the next election, do the same thing, because that's the only way that we can drain this swamp all over America. It's the only way that we can win our freedom back. And it's the only way that, well, that our liberty will truly reign. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you join us here again